The ideal draft for the Lions follows Brad Holmes' style. Welcome to another unmissable update. Before we continue with the news, please leave a like to strengthen the channel. It's very quick, costs nothing, and makes all the difference in continuing to bring you quality content. And of course, if you're not a subscriber yet, take the opportunity to subscribe right now and activate notifications, so you'll receive all the news about the Detroit Lions firsthand. Our goal is to reach 2,000 subscribers, and with your help, we're getting closer. So stay until the end, because this update is unmissable. Let's go. When a team reaches a high level in the NFL, like the Detroit Lions, the draft becomes a true showcase of possibilities. There is no longer that pressure to fill obvious gaps in the roster, which gives the board the freedom to focus on the available talent. And if there is one remarkable characteristic of Brad Holmes' management, it is precisely this flexible and calculated approach. He's never been one to pick players based solely on immediate needs, and he reinforced that point at the NFL Combine when asked about last year's strategy, when the team invested heavily in the cornerback position in the early rounds. "We don't draft based solely on needs," Holmes said, according to Jeff Risdon of Lions Wire. "We simply look for the best player for our system, not to be tied to a specific position. But of course, sometimes opportunity and need naturally align, as they did last year when we needed to add depth to our secondary." So while Holmes doesn't just fill glaring holes, he doesn't ignore them either. His selection of Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw in the last draft makes it clear that when talent is available at a position in need, he doesn't hesitate. Central to his philosophy, as always, is flexibility. Pro Football Focus Bradley Locker recently outlined an ideal scenario for each NFL team's first 3 rounds of the draft. In the case of the Lions, there is an additional piece on the board: the 3rd-round compensatory pick for the departure of defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn to the New York Jets, which should be the 101st overall. According to Locker, the perfect picks for the Lions would be Nick Scourton, edge rusher, Texas A&M, 1st round, pick number 28. Azariah H. Thomas, cornerback, Florida State, 2nd round, pick number 60. Tate Ratledge, guard, Georgia, 3rd round, pick number 101. Scourton, even without repeating the explosive numbers of the previous year, continues to be one of the most promising pass rushers in the draft. At just 20 years old, he would have the chance to develop alongside Aiden Hutchinson, potentially forming a lethal duo on the defensive line. Thomas, also 20, would bring physicality and length to the secondary, something valuable considering the instability of the sector in Detroit. Finally, Ratledge is an interesting name to bolster the interior of the offensive line, especially with Kevin Zeitler's possible departure and Graham Glasgow's decline in performance. 3 years as a starter at Georgia and an aggressive style of play make him a valuable asset, who fits the profile of players Dan Campbell loves. As NFL.com's Lance Zierlein noted, Ratledge has a combative demeanor that fits perfectly with the team's mentality. With a diverse array of options, it makes sense for the Lions to prioritize an impactful pass rusher, a cornerback who fits the defensive philosophy, and a guard who can step into a significant role, either immediately or in the future. This type of approach, which combines talent with strategy, exactly reflects Brad Holmes' mindset and his long-term vision for the franchise. If the draft follows this script, the Lions will be taking another solid step toward the top of the NFL. Lions consider strategic move for Joey Bosa. The NFL market is always full of speculation and possible trades that could change the course of the franchises. And the Detroit Lions, who have been consolidating themselves as one of the NFC's powerhouses, are at the center of an intriguing proposal. Although the team does not have an urgent need at the pass rusher position, one big name could be within reach: Joey Bosa from the Los Angeles Chargers. With Myles Garrett and Max Crosby being names frequently mentioned by fans as desired targets, Detroit's front office may opt for a more realistic and less costly route. But would betting on Bosa be a smart move to strengthen the defense, or a high risk given his recent track record? Let's analyze all the factors of this possible trade. The Detroit Lions are not exactly desperate for reinforcements at the pass rusher position, as the team has young talent emerging and in need of new contracts. However, that doesn't mean the front office is completely ruling out the possibility of a trade to add a valuable piece to the defense. Many fans have dreamed of a trade for Cleveland Browns star Myles Garrett, but the financial realities and demands involved make such a trade highly unlikely. Given that a more affordable and viable option has emerged, Joey Bosa from the Los Angeles Chargers. Bleacher Report analyst Gary Davenport recently explored several potential trades involving elite NFL defenders and suggested that Detroit could offer a 2025 fourth-round draft pick to acquire Bosa. According to Davenport, the Detroit Lions have been mentioned as a possible destination for several top pass rushers, including the likes of Max Crosby and Myles Garrett. However, Bosa would require a considerably smaller investment. Plus, playing on one of the NFC's most talented rosters could be a motivator. While the Chargers appear inclined to keep the player, there are significant financial challenges involved. The team's general manager, Joe Hortiz, recently reiterated that he wants to see Bosa finish his career in Los Angeles. "I know he wants to retire as a Charger," Hortiz said, "and I would love for that to happen. He's a natural competitor and a great teammate." However, the salary cap realities could force the team to rethink its options. Bosa currently represents a $36 million hit to the Chargers' payroll. That figure makes him a tough sell, especially for a team looking to restructure its roster and build a stronger future. For the Lions, the main dilemma lies not only in the value of the trade, but also in Bosa's availability. The 29-year-old defensive end has failed to play more than 10 games in any of the past 3 seasons, and his production has not been as dominant as in his prime years. Looking at the Detroit franchise's recent history, there is some trepidation in betting on players who have been dealing with recurring physical problems. In 2024, the team expected Marcus Davenport to have a significant impact on the defensive rotation, but the veteran suffered a serious triceps injury in Week 3 and missed the rest of the season. So, while the possibility of having a player of Bosa's caliber is tempting, there are still doubts as to whether this addition would be enough to take the Lions' defense to a new level in 2025. The team wants to increase its ability to generate sacks and pressure on the opposing quarterback, but betting on an athlete who has been dealing with frequent absences could be a considerable risk. Leave your comment below now. Let's interact in this video. I will respond and like your opinion. And don't forget to help us with your like. This greatly strengthens the channel and motivates us to continue bringing you the hottest Detroit Lions news. Our goal is to reach 2,000 subscribers, so your subscription is essential for the growth of the channel. Stay tuned for more news and see you next time.